going live right now. My name is Aleja Adebo Alliance, New Sisters to Sport, the best sporting show in the whole of the universe. EPL is back with a bang. And the hurricane, of course, continues in Germany. And a whole lot of stories to be told as well. And I'm going to allow the guys to introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Oracle Kachi. Kachi is going to be my victim today. Kachi is just it's just like it's just like you have been sent to the sitting room to go and sleep since last night.
Apologies, sports fans, for that. Always a pleasure being here once again. Pay no attention to whatever Dayboy is telling you. He doesn't have the full facts. But a big weekend of sporting activities. My brother from Shagamu got a win. Yay to AJ. But what does that portend for him, especially as he enters what I would call the twilight of his boxing career? Big congrats to the 4 semi-finalists in the FIFA Women's World Cup. The host Australia bouncing back from whatever the Nigerian Super Falcons did to them, and we'll face the English women for a chance to play in the finals. Let's see how that transpires. And is Arsenal also the team to compete against Manchester City? And is it too early to tell? Stay tuned for a good one.
All right, perfect. Olale.
Yeah, a good day, sporting fans around the world. It's nice to be back on the show. Football is back, EPA is back, La Liga is back. Hurricane is in Germany. I want to touch two things. Going back to the Female World Cup. This is the 9th edition. Prior to now, we've had 4 winners. Winners. The US team with 4 titles. The Germans have 2. Norway won and Japan won. But this year we'll be producing the 5th new champion, because out of the 4 teams remaining, none of them has won the championship before. But another major thing that gets me a little bit worried is I'm not a fan of conspiracy theory, but I think FIFA probably should be very ashamed of their decision. There was this Nigerian player, I couldn't remember her name, that got red card in the first game against Canada, which was just normal, a common foul, and she was suspended for 3 games. Not a violence conduct or anything. She was suspended for 3 games. But James, James, or what's her name?
Lauren James.
Yeah, despite the fact that she was given a red card for a violence conduct, which should have ideally ruled her out for the remaining part of the competition.
For 3 matches.
She was given a 2-match suspension. So I don't know where's the justification. I think that doesn't. A lot of people are not asking. They are not saying much about, but I think that doesn't look good. The second one is congratulations to Cristiano Ronaldo for winning the Arab Champions League. Ronaldo just completed football by winning probably the most difficult club football right now in the world.
Wow.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Olale. I know that your congratulation is coming from a place of faith, but we'll accept it like that. Don't worry, we'll accept it. Shay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wow, awesome one. Anyway, kudos to Ronaldo, and welcome.
That cup is like the World Cup.
Welcome, sport fans, to the show today. Kudos to Ronaldo. Actually, the Ronaldo effect is quite it's going all around Saudi Arabian League. So I think that's a big thumbs up for I wanted to say the young man, but let's just say the icon, the football icon that plays in the Saudi League right now. And also, if you look at the final between that was
Hilal. Yeah.
If you look at the quality of the players on the field,
absolutely,
you also know that I think the Saudi League is actually they're actually achieving what this initially set out to achieve. And I think they are quite early because I gave them up to 3 to 5 years to achieve this. But anyway, I'll move on to I'll move on to Anthony Joshua. Did one over the Nordic Nightmare yesterday night. Was a pure knockout around round 7. But the question is, was that performance enough to scare a terrible boxer like Deontay Wilder? I think we'll discuss this further on the show. Thank you, everyone. Welcome.
All right, perfect. I just stay with you, Shay, basically, and we'll keep up with AJ. And AJ does not cease to disappoint me, and at the same time, it does not surprise me anymore. And AJ is a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but as a boxer, you can't be nice. You have to be a little bit nasty. There have to be that nasty attitude about you. You have to be a little bit callous as well. But AJ is none of that. Sometimes I wonder how AJ became the undisputed number 1 in the world, right? I was seeing I saw his clip right before the match against Enos. And don't forget, guys, he was not supposed to fight against Enos. He was supposed to fight against the White because of the drug issue that we discussed last week. We did not think this fight is going to happen so early, that we're going to get an opponent for him so early, but it did. And AJ was like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm like, "Yo, you can't do that. Be nasty, scare him, put fear into his heart." But it did not. And like we said behind closed doors before the show started, that this is the same guy that Wilder knocked out. Bam! One time, no issues for Wilder, but it took AJ several rounds to do the same thing, and he got a blooded nose as well in the course. And the next anticipated fight is going to be Joshua against Wilder. How is the matchup going to look like, considering what we saw last night against the Nordic horror show? That's what I call him.
Debo, thank you very much. I think Joshua still lacks some kind of confidence. I think, like you said, he was fighting like a gentleman. During the standoff, Elenius, that's what you expect every weight boxer, someone standing as high as 6'8", to try to intimidate you. And Joshua was trying to speak like a gentleman. Let's wait till tomorrow. They want to fight here or tomorrow. This is a standoff. You are supposed to intimidate your opponent.
Exactly.
Anyway, however, the good thing is he did the job in the ring actually, and it's just only the matter the way he went about it. I think he was too careful. He, just like you said, he did not try as much as possible to stamp his authority, to intimidate Elenius as early as possible, and that's what I think propelled that bout into the 7th round. Even though I will say I saw a little bit of difference in the way he fought last night, to be sincere. I can see the changes, probably the change in coach. You can see what is actually coming out from there. You see him throughout the night. He kept on leaning with his left jab to set up the big right hand, and I think that was his plan, and he stuck to that particular plan until he landed it in the 7th round. I also noticed that whenever he also attacks, he's always careful, because he was careful of the counter punches. So I think that's also something that I've seen in Joshua that over the last 2 years was a little bit not there. So if I have to rate the bout on the night, I'll say 7 to Anthony Joshua, because he stuck to the plan. He kept on jabbing with the left and set up the right hand, and eventually got the big one, because they actually got some of those big punches during the second round, fourth round, thereabouts. Then before he was able to get a clean one that took Elenius out of the
bout itself.
But like you asked about if he's actually ready for Wilder, I think he is. But the point is, who is the bigger puncher? Who can receive a punch?
And still stand on their feet.
The truth is, they are both big punchers. We have to be clear about that. Anthony Joshua's perfect punch lands on Wilder, that could be the end. But the question is, can Joshua actually withstand the power of Wilder? And to me, I think Joshua tends to receive too much punches. You can't do that against Wilder. And I think that is where the difference is going to come from. So for me, if I have to rate that bout, I'll definitely say 60-40 to Wilder.
Okay. All right, perfect. I don't know if you have a counter opinion about that, Orokukachi. Wilder and of course, what do you call it? Anthony Joshua.
I don't. I think one thing we can trust Sheyi for is to dissect opponents, especially when it comes to boxing, and that's why he's our in-house specialist when it comes to the sport of boxing. I totally agree with him. Anthony Wilder does not, Anthony
Wilder,
inspire any fear in the heart of his opponent. We understand when we look at the history from Lennox Lewis to Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Deontay Wilder. Part of what masked Deontay Wilder's tactical weakness was the fact that he inspired fear in the heart of his opponent. 50% of the battle is usually psychological. And that's why everybody, I guess, today holds Tyson Fury in such high regard, simply because of the impression or the perception we had of Deontay Wilder. I definitely think they are both lacking certain technical abilities. I'm not saying and Joshua is not going against a very tactical fighter in Wilder. Wilder, we know, is very one-dimensional. We are only saying that what Joshua has as his strengths are not enough to counter, to overtake the weaknesses of of Deontay Wilder. Joshua doesn't work well with his jab. Yes, this fight against Helenius looks like he's working towards ameliorating that, because when you look at that knockout, he set him up with a low left jab, and as Helenius went down to defend, exposed himself. How quickly will he be able to become very proficient in that, to work his jab against Deontay? Don't. I'm only saying right now, they are both flawed fighters, but Joshua's strength does not take advantage of Deontay Wilder's weaknesses in the way that Tyson Fury did. So I still give that potential bout to Wilder, simply because he knows what he is good at, and he sets his opponents up to take advantage of his strength. Right now, I really don't know what AJ is good at. What is AJ's biggest strength? His biggest strength right now to me is that he's a pretty face, has sometimes a mean jab. I will take your mind back a little bit to the second fight against Andy Ruiz. AJ was dominating that fight, but he looked content to win over points than to make a statement in that second fight in Saudi. That, for me, is what I'm concerned with. Against Alexander Usyk, he was losing pretty much every other round except round 9, when he rocked Usyk so bad that we were like, if this was a Wilder, that fight would end in that round. 9th round. So AJ is not deadly, he's not clinical, which is something you need against Deontay Wilder. You can't give him a second chance, especially when you rock him in some of the rounds. So I give Wilder that fight. As much as I love AJ, well, I don't love as much as AJ. I still think his strengths do not take
Take care
advantage
of
of Deontay Wilder's weakness.
All right, perfect. And of course, the biggest Arsenal lady that I know on this set, Inobong Opek Umbo, is she said, "I'm happy Chelsea drew with Liverpool." I don't
Too
know why
early in
you
your bong.
why
It's too
why
early in your bong.
why, yeah, why do you hate Chelsea so much? Anyways, we have four Hall of Famer into the NBA. Dwayne Wade, Tony Parker, Paul Gasol, and Dick Nowitzki. These are four classy, very, very four classy players. Dwayne, if I'm not mistaken, has 3 rings. Dick Nowitzki did it with a franchise people thought would not be able to do it. Tony Parker, same. Paul Gasol was the Robin to the Batman of the late Kobe Bryant. Olale,
Yes.
out of these four guys, is there any moment that I can take away from any of the four guys that you're like, oh, that was the biggest moments in the career of any of those guys?
Starting from Dwayne Wade, there is something about when players are drafted, especially if you are drafted to not really a contender like that. Most young players don't get to win, or let me say, most superstars don't get to win their championship until probably 6th, 7th season, 8th or 9th, thereabout.
Mhm.
But people forgot that Dwayne Wade got his first championship in 2006, 3 years after he got
Yeah.
into the
Into
league,
the NBA.
into the NBA. And with in as much as you want to your opinion you have about Shaquille O'Neal's form, then
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade carried that team to the championship. In fact, a
Absolutely.
lot of people believe his performance in game 3, 4, 5, 6 is probably arguably one of the best ever
Yeah.
individual performance in NBA final history.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So and for a player that his game is probably based on athleticism, getting to the ring, he's one
Uh-huh.
of those few guys with such a, what do you call it, style of play to lead a
Not
team to a
injury period.
championship. We've seen
Yeah.
guys like D Rose, with Russell
Ross
Westbrook,
Westbrook.
John
Sometimes.
Wall, player with such similar style of play who probably faded out due to injury. And injury probably was not too fair to what you see to his career, because I think probably they should have probably with. I think they underachieved. The team underachieved when he was with LeBron. Those 2 titles,
Uh-huh.
they probably would have gotten 3. Uh, so I think that's for Dwayne Wade. For Dev Nowitzki, it was a case of, as much as Akeem Olajuwon was probably the first non-American superstar,
Uh-huh.
but again, being a black guy coming from Africa makes the story a little bit different. Dev Nowitzki is the first superstar, is the first player that makes people to, as in to look at Europe in a different way. Of course, there were some certain guys that played from Serbia, most notably,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
like 2 or 3 other guys from Serbia that are playing in the NBA. But it was the first true superstar to be like the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
And Nowitzki scored over, I think, close to 30,000 or more than 30,000 points, career points. Is like number
Mm-hmm.
6 or number 7 in an all-time list.
All time
And like
list.
you rightly said, to have led a franchise that most people don't believe, because there's something in Dallas. Dallas Cowboys is the most popular team in Dallas. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, so for him to have be able to stand out and be able to make people at least take note of that franchise in a
Uh-huh.
city that is a football crazy city, it's a whole lot of things. And
Yeah.
there is something about him and Dwayne Wade. 2006, when Dwayne Wade won his first championship, it was against the Dirk Nowitzki led Dallas Mavericks. 2011, when Dallas Mavericks won their only championship, he did that championship against the big 3 of Dwayne Wade,
All the
LeBron
way.
James, and Chris Bosh.
Uh, yeah.
For uh, what do you call it? This young man from France,
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker,
Yeah.
it's all about that
Yeah.
sports longevity era. What you remember about Tony Parker is about the sacrifice. I think he won the finals
Man,
MVP, I think in 2007 or thereabouts. Was it in 2000 2007 thereabouts? He's a very, very good team player alongside Manu Ginobili. And they really
Yeah.
complemented, what do you call it? Tim Duncan. I think
Yeah.
the biggest takeaway from them, from that career, from Tony Parker's career in, what do you call it?
He's been a
In
team player.
San Antonio Sport is yes, the team is bigger than whatever individual you
individual.
have,
Yeah.
and that's why they were able to win those 5 championships. Everything they do, it's all about the team. Those
The
guys could
team.
have gotten more individual numbers if they were in another team,
Mhm.
especially Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili,
Nobly.
but because of their understanding of what mattered most,
Yeah.
they sacrificed those numbers for
For team
Paul
glory.
Gasol. What else can you say about Paul Gasol? He's the number 2 man to, what do you call it?
It's
Um,
a Robin to the
Kobe
Batman of
Bryant won
KP.
those 2 championships in 2009 and 2010. In
Uh-huh.
fact, the most notable thing about him getting the Lakers was most people forgot that he was traded for his brother. He
Yes.
was the one in Memphis, and I think the brother was with the Lakers. They now
Yes.
traded
Yeah.
them
They
for him
swapped.
now to
Yes.
come to the to
Yeah.
come to the Lakers. And he won 2 very good championships. He had a decent, like 1 or 2 years in Chicago after he left. What do you call it?
The purple and gold.
The Lakers. And again, just like Dave Nowitzki, when you look at him and you look at his brother, they made people change, what do you call, the perception,
Perception
because
about
there's a
European
way
players.
Americans look at basketballers coming from Europe. They believe they are soft. They believe uh, that the NBA is not meant for them, and that has changed as in recent times with
Recent times,
guys
yeah.
like Luka
Ian
Doncic,
Ian Adetokunbo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo or Victor Wembanyama now, even
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic. But those guys set the tune in terms of people
People's
taking note of those,
perception.
exactly those
All
talents
right.
coming from Europe.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Olali. And Okachi, any word to this?
Yes. First of all, congratulations to all four of them. I thought, and I still think it was well deserved.
100%.
Seeing AI introduce Dwayne Wade, I thought was poetic because Dwayne said he won number 3 because of AI.
AI. Wow.
But I think what I can add is I kind of subscribe to that argument that Dirk Nowitzki probably has the hardest championship ring in the history of the simply because of who he had to overcome. I think
To welcome.
he had to go past the Portland. He went past Portland, went past the Lakers, and if I remember clearly, I'm not sure if it was OKC. He went
Okay,
past as well
I think it was okay.
before meeting.
Okay,
It was OKC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Before meeting the big 3 in Miami,
In Miami.
getting past them. You could also argue that maybe if it's not the hardest, it's the second hardest because of what LeBron did 3-1 in the finals. But
Oh yeah.
still, I think his ring is the hardest ring. Big credit to him. The league never, and Olawale touched on it, the league never drafted centers from outside the United States until probably when Hakeem the Dream was initially drafted. But seeing foreigners come in and proving naysayers wrong, for me, is probably the best story ever. From Giannis to Hakeem to Dirk, we've seen Nikola now win his own ring. We're waiting on the young boy in the current Dallas Maverick team to also carry them over the hump. But big congratulations to all four of them. Very well deserved. I watched a podcast where one of them was arguing that Tony Parker is not a Hall of Famer.
Oh wow.
There's no other reason to, beyond the 5 rings, the fact that he sacrificed individual statistics for the glory of
Of
that
the team.
team, it in of itself is deserving of being in the Hall of Fame, because the Americans, and we're looking at what is happening to Ja now, and even the younger boys, they talk a lot. Most of them
Yeah.
don't even back their words with action. But
Mm-hmm.
when you see people who don't talk, who come in,
Do
grind,
their work.
and get the result they get, it's only deserving that they are recognized in the hall. I can't remember if Tony Parker is one of the top 75 in the current NBA ranking. I can't remember. I totally apologize if he is and I don't mention it. But he's here a Hall of Famer. Without
100%.
doubt, he is a Hall of Famer.
All right, perfect. Just to add to what you guys said, two things basically I remember is Kobe going through Paul Gasol
At the Olympics,
at the Olympics. Like, okay, that was going to be my first plan. Paul was like, yo, what the hell is happening? And the second one would be Dwayne Wade carrying the team in the final of that same Olympic where we had Kobe and LeBron. But both did not turn up that day. Dwayne Wade was the one that won. That's good for them. So that's basically what I could say about those guys. And of course, Tony Parker, nice guy. Does not look athletic like you want a basketballer to look, just like the Dick Nowitzki as well. But they make the walk, and they said the walk and walk the walk. Yeah, walk the walk and said the walk and said the talk, basically for both, but for both of those guys. And of course, we are looking to Israel Adesoya's fight on September 9th against Strickland. Is Israel. Is the guy that talks, that boy that talks, and back up his talk. So we expect big things to happen against Strickland as well on September 9th. But of course, we'll be dissecting that as the date gets closer. And of course, from there we'll move straight to football. I'm pretty sure people are expecting football. I think, guys, going forward, we should start with football and talk about other sports, because people are more interested about what we have to say about football than other sport at first. So we'll turn it around going forward from next week. Sports has continued. This is a big one, Sheyi, and I'm looking at you in the face. It's a big one. Hurricane, everybody was on Hurricane's back. It was a target. Owen, everybody that it was not Jimmy Carragher, Gary Neville. Why is he going to Germany? Everybody knows Ben is going to win the league. Blah blah blah. We should have waited in England to win that, to break the record of Alan Shearer and be the highest goal scorer in the history of the EPL. But this guy wants to win something. He knows he might never win anything. He might, quote and unquote, especially with the money that we have in EPL right now. How do you go past an Arsenal that spent over 200 million pounds? How do you go past a Newcastle that have deep pocket? How do you go past Manchester City? How do you go past a Chelsea that spent more than 600 million in a winter and summer, but not even considering this summer? They are still spending. How do you go past a United that have all the history? And I'm like, okay, probably the Carabao Cup will be the only option for them. But I was like, yo, I've done enough. I'm the highest goal scorer in the history of sports already. I'm probably he's probably number 2 in the history of the Premier League. And of course, he is the highest goal scorer in the history of English national team. So what else do I need? Yo, let me go, make some money, make some more money in Germany while winning something. So people, because if you look at Alan Shearer, for instance, Alan Shearer has just one Premier League to his name. Imagine you don't win that with Blackburn. It's just going to be all goals, meaningless goals. If you ask me, Harry Kane's technique, tactics, tenacity, skills, goal scoring powers is too much for a low life. And I'm sorry to say this, for a low life team like Spurs.
You're an Arsenal fan, Debo.
It's too much. And you keep scoring.
You can be forgiven for that. As an Arsenal fan.
You keep. It's an Arsenal boy, anyways. We were the one that make him. We made him. How do you keep scoring 20, 30 goals every season? And that same thing cannot even win you a cup of coffee. It's sad. So, Sheyi, is it right that Harry Kane just led on like, please, let me make a name for myself outside of, even if I have to go to the moon to get a trophy, let me do it. I love sports. I'm a sports boy through and through. My home will always be White Leader, whatever their name is right now. But I've done enough. Is it justified?
Wow. I think Hurricane's situation, it's quite dicey. I've listened to all the legends, and most of them also forwards, criticize Hurricane for his decision to go to Germany. Not actually going to Germany, but probably going now. They feel he still can have it all. He can do one more season, probably break the record, and maybe live for free next season. He's going to get the money if he goes for free. More money probably on the table. He's going to win the trophy. He's going to have the opportunity to win the Champions League probably. But that one season is probably key to him breaking that, that record. So I understand that from their perspective. At the same time, I think from the player's perspective, the person, Harry Kane himself. Harry Kane wakes up today, is like, okay, I'm 30 years. I might not be able to perform the way I've performed in the last 3, 4, 5 years. The goals might be drying up. What if I actually get injured this particular season? I'm unable to fulfill that dream of going to Bayern Munich and win a trophy. What if? I've seen it all in the Premier League. Everybody knows I'm the most feared striker in the league over the last 5 years. Let's forget about Haaland for now. And even in the world, Harry Kane is in top 3 strikers in the world.
100%.
He's a footballer that plays not only with his leg but with his brain. You know, it feels this is the time for him to move. He's 30 years. It might not be rosy again. You understand?
Yeah.
And it's better for him to take the jump now, play in a different league, win a trophy. Every footballer, every great player in the world wants to win something. We talk about trophies that the greats they've won. We're talking about the Ronaldos, the Zidane, the Figos, the Galacticos, the likes. At times, when we talk about, I think Ronaldo not winning the Champions League, it's it's always somehow. And here is Harry Kane, what wonderful striker. He has nothing, so I think it's justified from the footballer, a striker's a point of view. To be sincere to Harry Kane, is justified.
And Kachi made me look like evil, an Harry Kane without anything. And you made me feel bad, Kachi. You broke my heart, Kachi. For real, you made me feel like I just hate sports fans. I'm sorry, I don't hate you guys.
You hate sports. During our production call, you always remind us the last time you had St. Tottenham Day or whatever you guys call it. But to echo Shei's sentiment, totally justified that he leaves. These people that are blaming him, the likes of Michael Owen, who left to Madrid to win a championship, but obviously struggled there. We know why he did it. Blackburn, we know, was a blip. It's akin to the Leicester City title. And then football was even all brawn, no brain in England. Harry has probably 4 to 5 really productive years left before people start to look at there's one thing. Most of the greats that we talk about, especially let's use basketball as a close example. Most of the people we talk about who never got a ring, the Charles Barkleys of this world, they at least got to play significant playoff tournaments. That they stood chance. They just met the Clyde. I think Clyde ultimately got his ring in Miami Heat, but they met a very efficient Michael Jordan. Now Harry Kane, the closest he came 2 times, he probably would have gotten his trophy if Daniel Levy did not let Mourinho go just in time for the Carabao
final,
and also the Champions League final in 2017 or 2019
against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool. Those were the closest. But beyond that, he has not played for a sports team. The team he has played for has always flattered to deceive. Start well, struggling really deeply, and then they peter off towards the end of the year. Now, saying this, no other English team had indicated interest in signing him up. I'm not sure if it's on News Instanta website, but I did read that article where ETH came out to say he is very happy to have signed Hodgson than to have signed
Harry Kane
right now. Number one, because of the age. Obviously, there's almost a 5-year disparity between both of them. So he
more
knows
than
how
5 years,
much
maybe 9.
from the Atalanta striker.
Uh
So
huh.
every time people come out to say, "Oh, it's not justified," they fail to look at the person himself they are talking about. What does this person want? He has broken your national team scoring record. He's leading you guys, led you to a Euros final, a World Cup semi-final, but he's never won anything. The same people who are saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have left," are the same
Same
people
people.
that when he retires will be like, "Well, we don't think Harry Kane had a fantastic career. Uh, he never won anything for Spurs." He doesn't want that to be what people remember him for.
4 exactly.
I think it's good. The easiest thing would have been to go to PSG. At least Dortmund would give Bayern a run for their money. RB Leipzig has been depleted. We know how many people left there already. But at least there is another club that will give them a run for their money. It's good for his career. It's good that Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur at least get something out of it rather than him go for free.
No, that's not something. Something huge.
Something
That's a
huge, exactly. Rather than
huge.
him go for free, him allowing Spurs to at least get something, they should be thankful. He's given them almost 20 years of his career. Let the young man go and win
Let
something.
the let the poor
Yeah.
let Harry Kane breathe. Please let Harry Kane breathe. Alright, excess of 100 million. For me, and I'm not apologetic about it. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't like to say it on this show, but I am. But I'll place Harry Kane side by side, and I'm not apologetic about it. So because I know you guys are going to crucify me, I play Harry Kane side by side with a Thierry Henry caliber in terms of talent, in terms of tenacity, in terms of hard work. I place an Harry Kane above and Kun Aguero above, side by side with Thierry Henry above Kun Aguero, definitely above Alan Shearer. This is for me the
It's not
best
an hot.
striker of.
This is not hot take.
Oh, okay. Just in case you guys
It
want to
is not.
crucify
It's
me.
not hot take.
Okay, yeah. So
No, I will not
seeing him go
crucify you.
out,
Because
okay,
I think
seeing me go, how happy are you for Harry Kane? Okay, go ahead, Olade.
I'm, I- I'm happy for him because a lot of people were just suggesting the fact that he could have waited 1 year and able to choose the club he wants to play for. This is just life. 1 year could just be too much. A lot of things could happen in 1 year.
Exactly.
One small player could just become a star. It could even himself could drop form or injured, and it's just too unpredictable for a 30-year-old to say he wants to take a 1 year. What do you call it?
Chance.
So for me, I'm happy for him. And why do we? Okay, I will ask you. And with the reason why I said that what you said was not hot take is, I think I was telling somebody was saying, okay, yes, Harry Kane was actually good, but we are only seeing him as good as he is because the caliber of center forward now I know that. I said no, it's not about that. If you see what Harry Kane brings to the table, Harry Kane is a far better player than Alan Shearer. Probably
100%.
like I can see him in the league of Wayne Rooney. Probably I just probably like the aggression of Wayne Rooney more, and because of probably he's a bit more versatile. But why do you think 4 5 years ago? Let me just state this: as at 2016, the way people look at Luka Modric, then do you think they could have looked at him the same way now, if not for those 3 consecutive Champions League titles? That is what titles does to you. it
Yeah.
solidified the perception as the
People
way
have a
people
view.
appreciate your talent. Because football is so unforgiving that it's a team sport, but we still try to personalize it to make it look like when arguments reach some level, you hear something like, how many trophies did he win? How many so do you? If he has not made that move, people would think Lewandowski is a better player than Harry Kane, which I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't as well. Honestly, I don't.
And why would they
I
think like that?
don't.
Because Lewandowski has won a Champions League with
Yeah.
Bayern Munich and some couple of
Mm-hmm.
league titles. So that is what,
Yeah.
and that is why, as much as a top player, you need money. Those titles matters a lot because it
It cements your
solidifies
heritage.
your heritage. They especially for people that didn't see you play in those eras, the
True.
only thing they
Exactly.
want to know is just the numbers and the titles. Anything outside that doesn't matter again. So that's why for me, I think it was a very smart move. And I think the focus will now be, the pressure will now be on Thomas Tuchel now to produce results, because I think one person that has probably gotten away with a lot of things since he took over from Nagelsmann is Thomas Tuchel, because
TP.
if Dortmund have not done a Dortmund thing, the Bayern could have probably as in they would have finished last season without the German
The trophy.
Bundesliga title. So for me,
Yeah.
it's a good career move for him at this stage. Yeah, they
All
should
right.
win titles in Germany, no matter how you want to call it, a farmers league or how many
It
this
does not
thing.
matter.
And I think him joining Bayern gives them a very good chance of doing well in the Champions League.
Can people from England even call the French league and German league Farmer League again? I think
When Man
Guardiola
City
won
is winning
three
it consecutive
every
times,
year. Yeah, and it looks like Man City will probably win again this year with what we saw on Friday. And anyways, life after Hurricane looks gloomy for Spurs. They started the season with a 2-2 draw against Spurs. Against Brentford, sorry. Brentford, don't forget, is missing Ivan Tony, who has gambling, quote and unquote, gambling problem, and is being suspended for that as well. But I'm going to stay with you. Chelsea Liverpool. This by far is the most entertaining Chelsea Liverpool game that I've ever watched. Maybe bad the one they played in the Champions League a couple of years ago. I think the game made a 4-3 or 5-4 or something ridiculous in that manner. Where Drogba eventually won for Chelsea. But this one, it was a 1-1 draw, and for every attack, you feel like, oh, Chelsea's going to do something wonderful. For every attack that Liverpool had, Liverpool would break down the defense. And you look at it, it was more like a balanced game as far as I'm concerned. What are the takeaways from this game, especially from a Chelsea perspective? Alali.
the biggest takeaway from this game for me is that both teams need to strengthen in their midfield area.
Thank you.
For Liverpool, I think Liverpool are probably a DM away from having a much balanced team. Because defensively, they just look very vulnerable. With McAllister and the other guy, I don't know how to call his name, the guy that joined
Sabosia.
from,
Yeah.
yeah, they are very good central midfielders who are probably good number 8.
Yeah.
But defensively, they just don't provide
They
the
look all
right
over
cover
the place. As
for
of sorts.
the Liverpool defense. And again, I think it's just it limits whatever output you get from Alexander Arnold and what do you call it, and Robertson,
And
because
Robertson
they just don't have that freedom to go
to
forward.
overlap, go
When they
forward.
add Fabinho, it's easier for Fabinho to drop back in between those two center back and split it into a 3-man defense, which allows Robertson and what do you call it, and
And TAA.
that's freedom to move forward. So I think from Liverpool, that's the most what do you call it? And I think again, it needs to sort out. And Gapco doesn't just fit in as that number 8. I think it's a waste of space. It just need to sort out that defensive midfielder. Who they are going to get, I don't really know.
I don't know. No, why are you saying you don't
For
know?
Chelsea,
No,
for
wait.
Chelsea,
Olala, I'm going to stop you there. You should not say you don't know. They already be there for Salcido. Brighton and Hove
but
accepted. Chelsea went back because that's something that we need to talk about. But don't let me break your chain of thought. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead with
Yeah,
Chelsea.
with
Chelsea.
Chelsea, when I looked at the Chelsea team, I just felt like whatever happened at Chelsea last year is just like if you are looking for a case study on how not to run a football club, it is what happened at Chelsea last year. Because with all the money that they spent, I still look at the team like this team needs a lot of surgical operation. But as we their midfield for me is non-existent. Enzo Fernandez was just there alone to do all the jobs. And kudos to Pochettino, even at that, he was still able to get them. The transition was not that bad. And with Christopher and Kuku missing, who could have played as that number 10, it's a very hard. Kane, what would they call him?
Conor Gallagher.
Chukwuemeka.
Okay.
No, that boy should be playing in the championship for heaven's sake. They called him the attacking midfielder. I didn't see anything from him that makes it look like an attacker. No attempt to even play a pass, no drive, no shot. I just don't. It's not. So I think Chelsea need to sort out their midfield issue. But as we speak now, Fabrizio Romano just reported and David Ornstein both of them just reported that they finally agreed a fee with
With Brighton and Hove.
what do you call it? Brighton for Salcedo. It's going to be a British record transfer fee. And again, Lavia, who Liverpool were chasing all this while, couldn't agree to pay. What do you call it? 50
The
million
50
this year on
million.
him. Yeah, they said it might likely join. If those two join, yes, that I think
that changes the narration.
The Chelsea team will improve drastically. But again, I think there is still a little bit of O too in their attack. Crime Sterling on that right side is probably a no for me. The Modric, the Ukrainian guy, still I know he played some few minutes. Still look like somebody who is still developing. So I think that's
lacking confidence.
That's another area they might likely need to visit. But I think in this transfer window, they might likely sort out their central midfield issue, which probably boosts their chances of finishing in the top four, considering the fact that they don't have any European football to play this season.
To play this season. All right, perfect. Olale, I don't agree with you about Chukwuemeka. First of all, I feel Chukwuemeka had a decent game for a player of his talent. Personally,
it's just a one tackle away from breaking somebody's leg. It's that guy is a disaster.
It happens. Marcelo just broke someone's leg a couple of weeks ago. Olale, don't be so hard on the kid. The kid is 19. I didn't see 18.
In that guy. I'm very sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, for Mudryk, I don't, anybody should know how I feel about Mudryk. Mudryk is Mudryk. Maybe it's going to come good at the end of the day. For Liverpool, Che, what would be the takeaway for Liverpool right now? Because it looks gloomy right now. If you ask me, especially they agreed with Salcedo for some reasons. Salcedo said no. I want Stamford Bridge. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It looks like Liverpool board are not ready to spend money, and you ask me why.
Yeah.
All this why they were chasing Lavia. And you know what Southampton actually wanted? They wanted 50 million.
Yeah.
Now, is it that they didn't really rate him?
Exactly.
So why will you pay 100 million? Want to pay 100 million for what you say, Salcedo? Yeah. Before you can place that kind of money on a guy, I'm sure you must have gotten his consent. Like, okay, I want to join you guys if you guys are ready to pay. How will you make it a public announcement? I just see all this old drama as a way of don't let the fans feel like we are not.
No. I don't agree with you. It's they don't have to agree with the player himself. They'll have to agree with the club first before. Sometimes the cards the odds comes before. Yeah. They really might not have agreed personal terms with the player, but agree transfer fee with the club. It happens sometimes. And sometimes
What I'm
you'll
saying
have
is this:
agreed personal
if they are
terms
going for a
with
big
the player.
signing like that, therefore, when you go for
Yeah.
big signings like that, we all
Uh-huh.
know there is always that understanding. Like, okay, that green
Salcido,
light from the player that
yeah,
makes you. But the last thing as a club you want is for you every time to have an agreement with the club, and if the player doesn't agree to join, the transfer is not can't take place. I think
yeah,
the last thing
100%.
any football clubs want to do is to embarrass themselves by announcing that we have an agreement with this person, but we want to discuss the contract, and the player didn't agree. I
I
don't
agree
think
with
most
it.
teams.
I don't
So,
I don't know what happened with Salcido. Anyways,
so if they can, so now if they can agree
I
100
feel
million on Sasido,
yeah,
why not that paying that
111.
50 million on Lavia? Is it that they don't really rate him?
No, I won't buy Lavia for 50 million. That's the truth, and I'm sorry to say that I won't buy Romero Lavia for 50 million. For they play in the championship for crying out loud. You don't even know how the development of the kid will turn out to be. You know, it's a big chance. We've seen what Salcido can become. Salcido
Yeah, I agree.
definitely is one. Because Arsenal went with 85 million pounds. Don't forget in the winter. They went with 85 million pounds. And Brighton was like, we are not selling this boy. And this is the same boy that Manchester United could have got it for 4 million pounds. If only if they have listened to that man, that German guy. What's his name again? I forgot. Ralph Ragnick.
Ragnar.
Only if they listen to him, you know. And this guy has developed, and we've seen. So Olawale, I'm going to quote you on this. Sometimes you see some people, and once you see them, you know this guy is destined for the top. The first time I saw Iniesta in my life, I know Iniesta is made for the top. The first time I saw Cesc Fabregas, I know this one is made for the top. But some guys will be like, oh, okay, let's wait and see. They might come out good. They might come out no good. You know, it's like you saying, I want to buy Jordan Sancho when he left Manchester City for 50 million pounds. I know he went on free to Dortmund. No argument about that, if I'm not mistaken. But you wouldn't have placed 50 million pounds on Sancho as of that year, would you? So some things are okay, let's see. I'm not sure. I think these guys, so we don't waste money. It's like you buying this boy that everybody is at Arsenal, but I like Fabio Vieira for 50 million pounds. He was developing at Porto, but you play 50 million pounds on him already. Waste of money. Even till now, I'm pretty sure most Arsenal fans will be like, that guy went for 35 million. He's not a footballer now. Why did we spend that much on him? And that's just my opinion about it. Many ways. Salcido has broken the heart. According to now, Fabrizio Romano, he has broken the heart of Liverpool. And Chelsea are doing two double jeopardy on Liverpool if they agree. I think if they agree terms finally with Southampton for Romilabia, it's going to be a game changer for them. And like Olawale said, I think Jackson will come good. Nkuku is being missed right now. Ryan that I saw today looks lively, like Ryan of maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. It looks lively. And Pochettino is a system guy. If the system works fine with the players, I think they are good to go. And I would not agree with Femi that give them that ninth position finish in the Premier League. Anyways, I'm gonna call to you, Kachi, about the new Arsenal formation, the one they played against Nottingham Forest. It was another win at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Arsenal, for me, did not learn from last season. They are still, I don't know, they look developmental. Some people will say, I forgot the English people have been using right now. A transitional
Yeah.
because Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Yuri Timber coming into the team, which is understandable. But of course, with what they did, they've already outshot themselves last season by vying for the championship, which they did not win eventually. But they've outdone themselves. So they've laid a precedence that people expect them to follow. And don't forget that they spent over 200 million pounds. So there are no excuses for them, as a matter of fact. Whether you are buying Declan Rice or they are coming from the moon, nobody gives a BS about that. You have to perform. And I'm wondering and these are going to be my questions to you, Kachi. First one is, when Arsenal is attacking, they have these three central defenders, Yuri Timber, Saliba, the Rolls Royce, like they call him right now, and of course Ben White. Then Thomas Partey joins in the middle of the pack, right? With Declan Rice and whatnot. And when they are defending, Partey needs to cover the ground for the right back. Ben White moves to the right back of the centre back. Yuri Timber takes his own left position. And this is my first question. Do you think, and I'm sorry to say this, Partey is the Ghanaian. We don't know what his real age is. They said he's 30, but we don't know exactly what his real age is. But let's agree he's 30. Does he have that energy to perform that function? And number two, I know Partey is one of the calmest footballers, but we saw what he did at the tail end of last season. Quote and unquote, we don't know if he was a North London footballer that had rape issues, but if he is, if he was, because they said the case has been thrown out of whatever right now. So if he was, that could have made him lose focus last season.
Correct.
But do you think he's focused enough to perform that role? And that gives you a bigger situation when someone like this Jeko comes in, or this is just a child, we should not make so much big deal out of it. Those are my three questions to you, Kachi.
Okay. The first one, even if he's 30, he can at least do it for 1 year. At the very least, he can at least do it for one season. Let's even say that is not his real age and he's 32. He can at least do it for one season. The second thing, and like we've mentioned during our production call, that this might just be based on the opponent and the need to have someone to be on that right side of the defense. And even with all that, let's not forget that the goal also still came from the right side of the defense. It was a ball that overpassed everybody, and it was a play to Taiwan Awuni. This is what I have to say. I think he's cerebral enough to do it. We saw Camavinga deputize in that left back role for Real Madrid, even though it was not his natural position, and he played it for almost 6 months. Yes, you may say all what you want, but at least he made a decent job of it. We saw Victor Moses play the right wing back position under Antonio Conte and made success of it, even though it was also not his rightful position. So typically what we used to say, and maybe everybody says, oh, Kachi is always bringing education analogies to sport. But typically what we say in life is, you going to school, to university, to a polytechnic to study a course, what you are showing is that you have the ability to learn something new and become adept in it. None of us were born as doctors. None of us were born as pilots. We went, we studied, we passed, and we became good at it. Being a professional football, what you are telling us is, I can pick up new skill sets because I am a professional. Thierry Henry was not an out-and-out striker. Arsene Wenger changed him, So Partey can adapt. He has played under two really cerebral coaches in Simeone, and now under a guy I really think is very smart in Mikel Arteta. I really think. However, is this what Arsenal need? Because I kept thinking, what could this mean? It could also be another ploy to show Stan Kroenke and his guys that this is the formation I want to play. But I need someone who is the right fit for what I want to do there. Because pretty much what he's looking for is a right wing back. Join the attack, but be fast enough to recover and join the defense. That is the first. I'm not sure if that answers the first and the third question.
Yeah.
Now, I still think this is a temporary fix. I still think what he is trying to do is make sure the players are able to play multiple formation because of people he will face in the Champions League. Now, on the basis of coefficient, Arsenal they'll probably be in pot 4. And what pot 4 means, at the best, pot 3. But what that means is you will at least play 2 really big juggernauts in European football. And these are people who are very fluid with their tactical formation. I think what Ateta is doing is slightly experimental, not what we should see going forward. I think Partey's position, especially now, is still maybe where they play a double pivot with Declan Rice. But what he's also trying to do is find a role for Partey in a team that already has Declan. I don't think this continues for 38 games. I think when the opposition is stronger, they will not play Partey there because that is a surefire 2 goals. I still agree with you that Partey was strong enough to recover, especially in transition football, because all they have to do is find cerebral midfielders like Perlo to play the long pass from defense and bypass the middle. The only way that works is for really slow, sluggish teams that will walk the ball from the defense, allowing Partey to recover in time. But the English football we know is very frenetic. I think Partey can survive it for 1 season, same way Victor Moses could only do it for 1 season. But I don't think this is the way going forward. I'm not
Going
sure
forward.
all the questions.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Tachi. I really do love the analysis you gave concerning that. Olale, I'm gonna come to you. More problems if I'm Mikel Arteta. The squad is full, if you ask me. And I know Kai Havertz is not your favorite guy. And Kai Kai wanted to play Kai in the video alongside Declan and Odegaard and Thomas Partey, quote and unquote, is a mystery and is a big problem at the same time with practical solutions. Playing Kai as a center forward in place of Heber Jesus or Eddie Nketiah looks good as well. I don't know. I'm not so confident with Kai's goal conversion rate, as a matter of fact. But of course, that's still good, right? But for me, playing Kai in the middle is a no. I don't know if you agree with me. That's my first question. And the second question is, where's Zinchenko, who I don't like because he's a defensive liability, not because of what he brings to the team. It brings a whole lot to the team. And I saw that during the preseason that this guy is being missed. It brings a whole lot to the way that Mikel Arteta wants to play. Timber tried to play that during the preseason. It could really not, it wasn't as effective as what you see with Zinchenko. So that's my second question. When Zinchenko comes in, what will be the practical formation for Arsenal to play?
I think the experiments we saw yesterday,
Why
just
do you guys keep calling it experiment? It's the Premier League for crying out loud.
no.
And there's no
Why
small team in the
why
Premier
I
League.
said so, why I
Uh-huh.
called it experiment is because it
Okay.
during preseason we didn't see them trying to play like this. They probably stick with their normal formations. So for them to have probably start the Premier League with such formation, it was a bit surprising. I think we need to wait. Probably this was due to the kind of players available. Probably it was just a reaction to what do we have. For Kai Havertz, I don't think I have much
Yeah.
to say. Personally, I see him as a player that probably gives a coach more headaches than what do you call it,
Than
than
solutions.
any form of relief. I don't see him as a striker. He doesn't score enough. It's a bit slow, sluggish. As a 10, I don't think I see him offering enough for me to see him as a 10. And not as a 8. It's too slow. I don't think he has that defensive what do you call it, or a CM mindset. It's just a tactical waste of space as far as as far as I'm concerned. And there's no way you could justify paying 65 million pounds on such a player.
Mm.
But again, is Mikel Arteta is the coach of Arsenal. Probably there is something he's going to teach us that we've not seen before. But for me, I just don't see him as that guy that will probably just bring any, because I don't really understand his best role. That I think that's my major thing. What makes him as in his best role on the field? I don't understand it, and that's why I don't understand why Arsenal decided to pay such big amount of
Such
money on
amount on
him.
him.
Olawale, let me just help you because you are very famous for sitting on the fence. Just say it for what it is. This is an American helping a fellow American in balancing the books. Kai Havertz is not there for any tactical
reason.
He's not going to make Arsenal better.
So
He has become
Alvaro Morata
of the Premier League right now.
So what we done on somebody Kachi.
Exactly.
Anyways,
They are using him to score to settle scores.
Yes.
Sheyi, I want to come to you now. And when Kochoa had that injury, the his ACL tearing, you were the one that first broke the news to me, as a matter of fact, on Instagram. Like, wow, good one for DDG. Probably is going to go to Real Madrid when that fax machine broke down, or Manchester United lied about that fax machine situation and he could not move. And they missed out on winning those 3 trophies, those 3 Champions League. Because if he was there, would have won the Champions League with them, as a matter of fact. So maybe destiny or fate is probably back at him. But it's free. But now they're looking at loaning Kepa from Chelsea. It's a merry-go-round. I don't understand why Chelsea wants to loan out Kepa. As a matter of fact, I don't understand the sense behind that. You need a formidable second choice, formidable understudy. What if something happens to Sanchez and he gets injured? Who is Chelsea going to rely on? But that's a Chelsea problem. It's Chelsea. I don't understand how they run the club anyways. But that's a Chelsea problem. But why Kepa? Why not DDG for Real Madrid? That's my first question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good question. Because I actually pondered, like you said, I sent this to you immediately. I saw the news, because the first thing that came to my mind was, David De Gea straight up is I think he also played for Atletico Madrid before, so it's like just going back home for him. And of course, you want one of the best, safest hands, to replace another one. I think Courtois was actually after De Gea at Atletico, or one way or the other.
Yeah,
I think so. So it was just like a perfect fit getting that. However, if you look at it very well, because I've actually pondered on this also, that's just a perfect way to get a world-class keeper to replace another one. But if you look at it, when Courtois comes back, who's going to sit on the bench? So that's the big question. Kepa is going to come on a loan. It's going to be an experiment one way or the other. He's going to leave, go back to Chelsea if it doesn't work. If it works, they can find a way around it if he can sit on the bench. But the point is, he's coming on a loan. So the decision is there to either take or leave.
Yeah, it's expendable.
Also, possibility of splitting the salaries is also there when you're talking about loan. There's possibility of spending less. David De Gea was, I think, the highest paid in Man U before he left. Part of the issues that we can leave that one for the users to sort out. So that's the big problem. David De Gea is a big goalkeeper. The big issue will be there in signing him in terms of the salary and whatever they are going to agree to. Moreover, the issue of permanent decision is the issue for Real Madrid. That was actually what comes first to my mind when I was pondering. Now, okay, if David De Gea comes in, Courtois is going to come back. So what happens? They have another issue of big power players. Who sits on the bench?
2 world-class goalkeepers.
I don't think Real Madrid wants to put that in inside the basket of problems they have now.
Yeah.
I guess that's actually what sorted that out for them to go for Kepa.
All right, and of course they have their cause right now, injury cause. Militao, I heard, is going to be out for as long as we know right now. Courtois probably 7-8 months as well. Getting Kepa or Bono from Sevilla could help them. They want to get Bono as well for on loan, but Sevilla wants, I think, 30 million or thereabout from Real Madrid to be able to get Bono. Yeah, which leaves us with that. But my next question, and I'm going to stay with you before I sample the opinion of Kachi and Olale, would be what are the expectations of Real Madrid for this season? I look at the team. It looks good. From the back, it does not look good to me. Goalkeeper, if Kepa is a goalkeeper, it leaves you with more problem than solutions. Because Kepa, as good as he is as a shot stopper, you don't know what kind of Kepa will come that day. It might be that Kepa that will refuse to listen to coach and leave the field when they have a penalty. It might be that Kepa that would decide to punch the ball to the hands, to the feet of an opponent. And it might be that world class goalkeeper Kepa that went to Chelsea for that big money move. So you don't understand. And I look at the teams around Europe, the big teams basically. At least you have four very solid centre backs. With Militao gone now for a very long time, we'll probably have just two, which would be Rudiger and Alaba. Nacho is an average player, an okay player that can help you. And that leaves you with lacuna, with a team that will say we want to win the Champions League. Middle sorted. No problems in the middle. No problems. Up front, so much problem. They have just Joselu as their striker. No other striker. Last night it was Vini and Rodrigo. I don't know how that's going to work going forward. Playing those guys as your strikers. Those guys looks more like left forward, right forward,
Yeah.
rather than the intelligence you will see an Harry Kane, Benzema, Lewandowski produce on a weekly basis for you. So that gives you. So what are the expectations of Madrid? Are they in a transitional mode right now, pending when they get Mbappe, or they'll be like, okay, we still want to win. We still want to win either ways. We want to qualify. We want to win the league. We want to win the Champions League, like they always do. Or we spent money. At least we spent so much on Jude Bellingham, for instance. What are the What are the base expectations that we should expect from Real Madrid this season?
Yeah, I think we're talking about Real Madrid here. I think the fundamental expectation from any Real Madrid team is to win the league and win the Champions League. And I don't think that is going to be lowered this season.
Oh, wow.
However, they have their problems and they know they have their problems. And don't let us forget that this Real Madrid team is actually a team in transition since last season.
They've been in transition for a while now. Even when this
yeah.
man won the Champions League, he's still in transition, but he still won the Champions League.
Yeah, because they are actually moving on from the
Current coach.
the old war horses.
Okay.
Benzema is out of there now. They still have, I think, Modric
Cruz,
and
Modric.
What's it called?
Cruz.
The German.
Cruz, Tony Cruz.
Yeah, Tony Cruz. So it's a gradual process. But right now, they're having issues that any football club can face, the injuries. But I still think they should have also, invested in a striker. I think the Mbappe saga is affecting the attacking line right now. They created that for themselves, and I think they need to sort it out by themselves. Mbappe has, today we heard that Mbappe has agreed to sign another deal to 2025, which means he's not going to be going for free next season. That means Real Madrid needs to spend money next season. They've already spent big on Jude this season. So let's see that what happens with their FFP, plans. Okay, like you asked, their expectation, I think, is to win the league. I think one of the biggest problems they will face also in transition from this season to next season. I don't want to get too ahead of myself or themselves. They are losing their wise coach, Ancelotti, at the end of this season. And I think that is another big problem you'll be facing. They need to, I'm sure they are working on a replacement right now. The project will probably be passed on to him. My question is it going to actually pass the project on, or is it going to start another project? So that is where the issue is for Real Madrid right now. But we've always seen over the years that it's the board, the big men behind the glass, wall.
The Saints. Yeah,
they're actually the guys that that dictate the pace. So for me, I think this season they are going to struggle just because of those two key things we mentioned. The defense is not up to what it is right now. Rudiger, but I think if they get Kepa has played with Rudiger for maybe like 2 seasons thereabout. So I think a little bit of understanding might
over there.
yes, that might just be a little bit of positive for that side. But in terms of the the personnel
Yeah.
for the quality of the personnel, because if
Mm-hmm.
Alaba or Rudiger gets injured now, what happens to that defense?
Exactly.
You'll probably have to
Exactly.
draft Tchouaméni to maybe center defense or something. So
Wow.
that is where they are going to face the issues.
The
And I've
issues.
seen, apart from maybe a what's it called, a Pep Guardiola that played almost a full season without a named striker, I've really not seen a team that can do that and win trophies. So for the attack, they're going to struggle. You can't
In
play
defense.
Rodrigo and this
And
guy.
winning.
It cannot work for 38 season when you have Champions League to also play. So I think they're
Exactly.
going to struggle, even though the expectations will not be lowered.
The lowered. Okay.
That, but I think they're going to struggle
Okay.
if they don't sign some key players to just shove these losses.
Uh-huh.
They'll probably might, just not win the league. And I doubt if Real Madrid can win Champions League this season.
Champions League as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Kachi, if what she is saying is right, that means they are living in La La Land, not sorting the situation, and at the same time expecting miracles to happen. I know Ancelotti could perform miracles. He did that, winning that Champions League that year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they won the league that same year as well, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So he basically performed miracle, but I don't see that repeated itself. Is it about time? I don't think Yoselu is that bad as a striker. Is it about time you just stick to, okay, let's play Yoselu, even though he does not have a backup? I think Mariano will be the only backup. No, Mariano even left at the end of last season. So, though, no. Did they get back Brian Diaz from you guys?
Yeah,
They
Diaz.
got back Diaz. Okay. So, basically, it's going to be, Diaz is not even a striker, just to put it out there, anyways. But he could double as a striker, which is a good one, but he's not going to fit into that enormous responsibility that Real Madrid brings to everybody. So do you think they are living in La La Land if they don't sort this out? Kachi?
I don't think so. I think the only people who probably expect Madrid to compete for everything this year are the media and maybe some delusional fans. I think if you sit Florentino Perez down, he will tell you this is not the year. Yes, you can't come out in public and say, "Oh, we're not expecting to compete and win." That is what they will say to the public. But I think they know that if we thought we were in a rebuild before now,
Yeah,
it's very obvious that this season we are retooling. This is clearly a rebuilding season. Last season, they handed Barcelona that league because Barca was clearly also rebuilding. This is a rebuilding time for Madrid, especially with Ancelotti leaving. We don't know the personnel to remain. We don't even know what formation would ideally work for them. They don't have a clear-cut proven striker. Probably for the first time since, can't even remember, in the last 20 years, they don't have a proven go-getter.
go-getter.
So no one would delude themselves to assume that Madrid is competing on all fronts. They are expected to make a decent show of it, sell enough jerseys to finance the signing of Mbappe next season. This is clearly rebuilding. Let's not expect more from them. They may say one thing in public, but with the personnel we are seeing, we definitely know where they are trending towards. I don't think they are living in La La Land. It's just that, like Sheyi said, the name itself carries a weight of expectation. Even if the team itself knows that they are not going to compete, they are Madrid. They are not going to tell the world that they will not compete. But this is not the season where Ancelotti performs a last-minute miracle.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. And of course, in another news, Barcelona just drew against Getafe 0-0. Not a good way to start. No alarm bells ringing. And I know I said it last season. It's just watch out for Barcelona. They played so many 1-0 victories last season. Looks like a solid defense with Ter Stegen keeping them alive for majority of last season. We saw the kind of disgrace they suffered at the Champions League, and of course, even in the Europa League where Manchester United defeated them. So don't expectations should be lower as well. Even the couple of players that they have right now, they can't even register them because of they have to pull another financial lever. Maybe one day, Messi will look at them and borrow their money from all the money that he took from Barcelona. Olali, I'm gonna come to you now. Newcastle are back with a bang, 5-1. Yo, that's crazy, man. Aston Villa lost a couple of their players in the middle of the game. Tyrone Mings, as a matter of fact, had to go out. They gave Pau Torres a baptism of fire. Welcome to the Premier League, and that is a funny one. What are the expectations right now? For what do you call this guy? For Newcastle, safe hands, safe defense. We also what they did last season. They overachieved
last season.
Okay.
Last season. Yeah, because ideally nobody probably expected them to finish in the top 4. A lot believe Liverpool were not themselves for a while. If Chelsea has probably done well, probably one of them could have probably taken that slot, or even Tottenham Hotspur. So you imagine Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool, and Chelsea not making the top 4. So I think they overachieved last year. Now this year, expectation will now be high. This is where the challenge comes in. I think they've not been able to do the big money spending just like the other rich clubs, and I don't think they have that enough caliber as in this thing to attract, what do you call it? But I think they bought well.
Players.
Yeah, I like the additions they brought to the squad. Tonali, Harvey Barnes, and this. So I think they've done very well for themselves in the transfer market. Another top 4 finish will be an excellent result.
Olali, are you there? Okay, we lost Olali there for a sec. Roberto Mancini has resigned as the national team of Italy. Don't forget, he won the Euro Cup. Wonderful and historic coach. And this is the same guy that set the pace for Pep Guardiola. Before Guardiola was a Roberto Mancini. And what he achieved with City, people always remember with that Queen's Park Rangers match at the end of that particular season. Of course, Bayern Munich lost in the German Super Cup against RB Leipzig 3-0. Titi, I'm looking at you. Are you going to escape this time around? People are seeing maybe finally we'll see Titi for the fraud that he is for once. Yo, if he does not achieve a Bayern Munich, Kachi, Titi is a fraud.
Especially with Kane.
Last season, okay, he had better do. If not because Bayern Munich, Dortmund were, I don't even know why I put in Dortmund on final day that they did that they did.
Dortmund Arsenal did.
That was a low blow. Yo, that was a low blow. Anyways, in the rundown for the Premier League result, Arsenal defeated Nottingham Forest 2-1. Bournemouth played a 1-1 draw against West Ham United. Brighton and Hove defeated Luton Town 4-1. Don't look at the scoreline. It wasn't that bad. Luton actually played pretty well. Everything lost at home against Fulham 1-0. Crystal Palace defeated Sheffield United 1-0, and Newcastle defeated Aston Villa 5-1. Before we go, any words from you guys?
I just want to say, well, good luck to Mancini. we remember you for winning the Euros, but we also remember you for being champions of the Euros who did not make the World Cup, the very next World Cup. But I think he did well enough to last 5 years with a very volatile Italian FA. But I wish him all the best. I always have a soft spot for Italy simply because the football club I support is based in Italy. But that doesn't mean that I will not criticize them. But I do wish him all the best. And let us hand over the trophy to Manchester City. They played very poorly, but still demolished Burnley. This is just going to be a cakewalk this year.
All right, perfect. Jay, who is winning the Women's World Cup? Who are you supporting?
Okay. I probably was thinking Japan was going to win this World Cup. Now they are out. And I think I'm going to throw my heart between Spain and England. I think the English team, they've not been so fantastic in this World Cup. But guess what? They keep taking one step after the other. I think they are also experienced. They won the European Cup like 2 years ago, thereabout. So I think they have that, that mentality is there already for them. And might push them to the final. Spain, England, then I leave the best team to win.
It's the best team. All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Shay. And you guys are going to be playing who again tomorrow? You're going to be playing against Wolves tomorrow?
The Red Devils are going to be hosting the Wolves. I believe
we know what the outcome should be.
Exactly. It's only one outcome.
Only one outcome. Or Rashford double. Probably. All right, perfect. Name is that's the show. Thank you guys for watching, staying tuned, supporting us, giving us the likes and the loves. We want the stars, as a matter of fact. We want to earn from creating this content for you. So give us the stars as well. Till we talk to you again next week. Bye, guys.